Hey folks, Tennessee Brando here. Governor Ron DeSantis out of Florida has announced that he will be suspending State Attorney Andrew Warren for saying that he would refuse to prosecute certain abortion cases and new laws restricting trans rights. Take a look at what DeSantis had to say.
When you flagrantly violate your oath of office, when you make yourself above the law, you have violated your duty, you have neglected your duty, and you are displaying a lack of competence to be able to perform those duties. And so today we are suspending State Attorney Andrew Warren, effective immediately.
Now, did he really just say that when you make yourself above the law, you have violated your duty? Isn't that the entire Republican platform these days, making yourself above the law? But DeSantis, his hypocrisy doesn't stop here. Take a look at what he says next.
And so what this is all about is really, when you uphold the rule of law, you are protecting the most vulnerable in our society. That's why we have a rule of law.
So when you uphold the rule of law, you are protecting the most vulnerable in our society. Did he really just say that? When he has went out of his way to tear down laws to protect people and put up new laws to make people's life a living hell? But Andrew Warren did have this to say in response. Today's political stunt is an illegal overreach that continues the dangerous pattern by Ron DeSantis of using his office to further his own political ambition. It spits in the face of the voters of Hillsborough County who have twice elected me to serve them, not Ron DeSantis. In our community, crime is low, our constitutional rights, including the right to privacy, are being upheld, and people have the right to elect their own leaders, not have them dictated by an aspiring presidential candidate who has shown time and again he feels accountable to no one. Just because the governor violates your rights, it doesn't mean they don't exist. Andrew Warren is spot on in his response here. This was a political stunt. This was political theater by an aspiring presidential candidate who knows that the only way he will ever cinch the Republican nomination for president is he has to get the evangelicals in his corner. And this is all catering to them so that when it comes time to become the nominee, he can stand up and say, oh, I'm a God-fearing American, and the evangelicals will pat him on the back and help push him toward the White House. But when it comes down to it, when a politician stands up and says, oh, I'm fighting for you, I'm fighting for your rights, okay, great. But are you fighting for everybody? Are you fighting for everyone's rights? Because if you're fighting against other Americans, then I have a problem with that. You know, I'm a 42-year-old white dude from East Tennessee. I'm never going to have an abortion. It's never going to happen. But one day my daughter might have to make that decision. And when she does, I want her to be able to make that decision without the government dictating her final decision. I have friends, I have neighbors who one day may have to make a decision like that, and I do not want the government or any politician getting in the way of them making that decision. So don't stand up and say to me, oh, I'm fighting for your rights. Okay, fine, you can fight for mine all day, but you better be fighting for my daughters. You better be fighting for my friends and neighbors. Now, I'm a straight white male. I've never faced the discrimination and the hardships that the transgender community and the gay community have faced, but I want a candidate who is fighting for them too. I don't want a candidate that's just up there fighting for me and people that look and sound like me. And that's one of my biggest problems with the Republican Party. I have so many people from time to time say, man, I don't see how you could grow up in Tennessee, grow up in the South where you're from. How can you grow up around that part of the world and have those kind of viewpoints? Because I believe in an America where we all have the same rights as everyone else, where we're all equal, where we all have a right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. You know, it's one thing to stand back and and disagree with people. There's a whole lot of people in this world I disagree with. A big chunk of them is in the Republican Party. But I still want them to have the same rights as me. I still want them to be able to do the same things that I do. I don't want a politician who is strictly there fighting for me and then turning around and fighting against my fellow Americans.